brain's melting. Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Stone and Void. I'm your host, Jay Phillips, joining you guys, as always, with my two co-hosts, Don Bowie.
Hey.
Patrick Collins.
I'm your Patrick.
And this time we're going over the AGP. You guys were just there over this past weekend. You guys played for, 13 hours is what I heard?
Yeah, we played for about 13 hours, 7 rounds.
So yeah, just how was it definitely being down there and everything?
Oh, Vegas, it's warm, there's a lot of
It was cool.
dirt.
I met a lot of cool people. A lot of people traveled like a long, long way to get there.
Yeah, we hung out with some Texas guys.
Yeah, Texas guys, Mexico guys.
Oh yeah, Mexico guys, those guys are
Yeah, there was a guy.
No, we met some guys who were promoting Force of Will in Mexico, so that was really cool.
That's cool.
They played locally in Tijuana. There was like a group of 5, 3,
Yeah, they
4,
all traveled
something
from
like that.
Mexico.
It was pretty intense.
The tournament was 110 people, right?
Yep.
110.
So it was kind of one of the smaller ones, at least compared to the last one that we
I
went
was
to.
very surprised.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was going to be small because there's another AGP going on at the same time in the East Coast, but still, it's Vegas. There's a lot of people from LA. I thought that would have.
Yeah, I think most people came for the R&R. Like, I'm pretty sure R&R is better than whatever top 8 in Charlotte was or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So
Yeah,
it's
because there was another one going on at the same time. I forgot about that. Well, for the most part, the only thing that I heard, since I didn't actually go, so I don't know how it was personally, but from what I've heard, or at least seen on Reddit, it wasn't the best ran event ever.
No, it took way too long. There was a bunch of repairings. But that happened because there was a system crash. Apparently something went wrong in the system, and then they had to switch to another system.
Yeah, that was our lunch break. Remember that?
We had a
They're
lunch
like,
break.
Oh yeah, we're going to take a half an hour lunch break, and it ended up being like an hour and a half lunch break. And then at the very end of the day, we found out, it was because they lost some cord, or it was a server crash.
No, there was something in the system that they needed that they couldn't get access to, so they switched to the Japanese version.
That's right, they accidentally switched to Japanese.
And then that didn't have it either, so they completely switched to another system, and they had to re-enter a lot of the pairings.
Yeah,
so that was
the first 3 rounds of pairings.
Yeah. So that was intense.
And then that caused more problems because people dropped that they kept on re-entering in. There's this one guy who's like, they put me back in the draws again, even though I dropped like 3 rounds ago. So we had to repair because of that. I think was there like 10 repairings like through the night? People just started clapping like after like the 4th or 5th time.
There was a round where there was 3 repairings.
Yeah,
that was the last round. Last round had 3 repairings.
Yeah.
That's intense.
Musical chairs.
I have no idea how the staff took that many mess ups, and I'm saying this personally because as a TO, I've ran many events, several of which were over 200 each. We're getting a phone call really quick.
Cut.
Yeah, as a tournament organizer, I've ran several events that were way bigger than these, roughly 200, 250 people for Magic, and the event recorder that you use for it, WinApp, is not necessarily the most reliable, and I've used other things that were unreliable or have had problems or had things come up during tournaments, but never have I had to take an hour and a half break or even have more than maybe just the issues that they've had. Because I'm not just talking I wasn't there at your guys', so I don't know exactly what happened, but even at the one that we had in LA was a nightmare. We were there for 2 extra hours, and I don't understand why these tournaments seem to be having such a rocky run of them.
Apparently it's only the West Coast, from what I've been reading, that's been screwing up. East Coast, apparently East Coast has a lot more judges and other people readily available to help. So a complaint is that we only have 4 or 5 people doing this tournaments, or the other tournaments have more
Still,
people.
I ran multiple tournaments, once again, for Magic that were, only 5 people running a 200 plus event, and everything still seemed to run perfectly fine off of those. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's just these people that are running the ones here in this area aren't experienced enough and haven't ran other events. Maybe they've only ever tried to do forcible events. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It could be multiple different reasons. I don't necessarily want to complain about an individual person. I just don't understand, as a tournament organizer, how that's so...
I think it's funny you didn't go, and yet you're complaining more about this than Don and I.
Well, yes. No. Like I said, it's only coming from a tournament organizer standpoint. Like, I just don't understand it. I would have been furious if I went.
I mean, you know, I was pretty upset during it. I was nodding out. I almost lost my last match because of how much I was so tired.
Yeah.
I mean, I ended up winning it because I'm great, but you know, it's just. I mean, the only thing I could kind of excuse everything. The only thing that I had a problem with soaking in once I found out about it is that apparently someone cheated, or maybe two people cheated, and it was kept confidential. It was hidden information. Like, these people kept playing, or maybe they just dropped, but there was no punishment apparently for these.
There was no public
people.
exposure to these people.
Yeah,
but these are just rumors, and
these are rumors. Yes.
It didn't go to the head judge, and the head judge had no official calling for any of that.
Yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
But yeah, there's rumors that the TO was, you know, helping these.
That's another
guys
thing
out.
that I heard was was local favoring for.
The judges were
rulings.
cool, though. That's the only thing that I don't understand.
Yeah, shout out to the judges. Like, they did a phenomenal job.
I thought they
all
did
great.
We've been told that some people were saying that they were doing bad, but I didn't experience that. I didn't see
online,
that.
I heard a lot of weird things.
I think it got exploded a little bit out of proportion. I mean, don't get me wrong. There was like a shit ton of repairings, and just like the time went on forever. I thought the judges were cool, though. Apparently it was all the TO's fault.
That's what I've been hearing. Terry Chan is one of
There's
the
a bunch
TOs.
of memes of
They're
them
running
everywhere.
Terry Chan is running Desu Nation, which is the tournament organizer and their affiliation with that.
Yeah.
So it's apparently a lot of his fault and a lot of personal interest with business and stuff like that. I found a petition online from like a year ago saying that he shouldn't be a part of any of the AGP's world tournaments. And this was like a year ago when he ran...
Because he did the LA tournament
the previous LA tournament back in the day.
That's really shocking to hear something like that, because as somebody who's ran big events for Wizards of the Coast, if you have a violation like that, or some sort of... they expect you of those things, Wizards of the Coast will pull you from holding events almost immediately. Yeah. They don't want that type of...
Yeah, but Force of Will is a new company, though.
It still should hold standards. Regardless of your size, you should hold a standard to what you do, because that's representing your product and who you are. And if they're not representing you in a positive way, you should not associate with them. I personally believe that they should hold them to a very strict standard.
I mean, I can agree with that. It's just, you know, coming from just seeing what Forces Will has done, you know, as a company, I understood why they gave him a second chance, but
yeah, I mean,
I'm pretty
obviously,
sure.
I'm just saying he shouldn't be getting another chance after this.
Yes.
This is
I think there's been a lot of talk that he like, there's even talk that he won't be even allowed to run local tournaments anymore. I mean, and that's pretty harsh. Like, that's
pretty intense.
Yeah.
Another problem that they had between just the judges criticizing the judges was because of Day 2, top 8, one of the rounds in semifinals lasted 3 hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
and that caused Adam Reiser. Yeah, he caused Adam Reiser to drop out of top 4 just to get his ride home on a plane. So it's pretty rough that these time constraints are like eliminating a top player just because of time.
Well, that's not even part of the rules. For some reason, that was a call. That was the judge's call to have it go long for some, like, unlimited time or something like that.
There was unlimited time, but the slow play between the plays was not judged well. That should not have lasted 3 hours.
No, that's kind of interesting to think of. I haven't seen a match locally run past 40 minutes.
Yeah.
A match or a game?
An entire game, I mean. Like,
Okay, yeah, it's like a match is definitely lasts longer than 40 minutes.
Well, it's still, I mean, people finish pretty fast. I mean,
I would say you finish in an hour.
Yeah, an hour easily.
An hour and a half at
That's
latest.
intense.
Yeah.
3 hours is a lot of slow play, and Robert Herbert, the head judge of like Team US, was like, "I'm ashamed. I apologize for everybody," and like
He was over at the Charlotte.
yeah, he was over at the Charlotte.
That went smoothly.
That went smoothly.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. I mean, that's a lot of things. At least some interesting or good news coming from it is you placed 27th, correct?
Yes.
That's pretty good.
Who would have thought that I placed higher than these guys? You know,
He did so
I
well.
wasn't there.
I got wrecked.
I still did way better than you. You hid in the shadows like a coward. That's what you did.
So
At least
you got-
Don tried. But
That's
You
how
got
it is.
exactly a quarter,
yeah, I got exactly
Pairings.
like in the 25 percentile.
and I got exactly half with 55.
yes, exactly 50 percentile. But yeah.
Dang.
You want to talk about your experience first with your deck, or?
Yeah, Kaguya 1.0 was really cool. I had a lot of fun with it. It was consistency and just, it was a great deck, and I just had some play mistakes that I lost because of, if I played better, then I could have topped higher.
Yeah.
I lost to splits a lot. There was no counter to splits. Like, one game it was just 3 splits. I'm dead. There's nothing I can do. I have no counters. And, yeah, I had a good time. Met a lot of great people. And the community's all nice.
Yeah.
I met awesome people. Everyone I played with was super nice. There was no salts on the table, and it was good. Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like Don, I think our biggest struggle was we just didn't practice enough with our decks. I think if Don just played a little bit more with his deck and like understood the ins and outs of every card, I think he would have had a much better time. Because he came up to me almost like every match, like, Patrick, I made so many misplays. I could have won. I'm just like, Don, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm doing pretty good. But I played 4 Sacred Beasts. My build was slightly different than like the regular build. I didn't play the wind and air counter spell that uses the moon.
Seal of Wind and Light.
Yeah, Seal of Wind and Light. I went more aggressive. I used Cheshire Cats and Adam Brawleys, which I don't think the typical build for Sacred Beast does. So I kind of was like trying to get my Hong Long out faster than the other guy was essentially. The only problem with it is if someone caught on how I was doing it, then they were able to, leave a counter open for my Hong Long, which is tough because I didn't even have silence, law of silence to protect, get a free Hong Long in turn. But I mean, I still did well. Went four wins, 1 tie, 2 losses. One of my losses was actually to Steven, the guy who won the entire event. So I mean, can't feel bad about that. I got a game off of him, so that's kind of cool.
That's very sweet.
But yeah, I mean, and for all like tips for all you guys that are trying to get better like me, what I've been doing these last 2 AGPs to everybody I've lost to, and you can do this with any match, but probably the people you lost to, because it can be, I guess, a little demeaning towards the people you beat. But I've been asking them, like, did you see me do anything wrong? Like, did I make an obvious misplay? Blah, blah, blah. So these guys that I've been talking to that I've lost to, they've been really helping me out. Like, oh, I don't think it was necessarily your fault. It's just the bad pair up matchup. Or it's like, oh, I don't think you understood this card that well, because like my most hated card was Wind Secluded Refuge, because that card did nothing for me. And like when I thought it did something, they were targeting my Hong Long's ability, not Hong Long, and Wind Secluded Refuge doesn't protect the ability, so it's just like, dang. But I mean, I'm pretty excited to be 27th though. So
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm jealous. I wish I could have gotten up there. I should have done better.
Happens. I mean, you guys will have a chance to redeem yourselves at the next tournament in LA again. So
Alice Cluster.
Yeah, hopefully we actually practice this time.
Yeah.
And I definitely won't be going once again, but this time I have a real good excuse, as in I won't be in this country, so
Go to
You should,
the
you
Germany
should go
one.
to the countries in Eurasia or whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, so anything else you guys wanted to go over for the AGP stuff, or?
I think another big thing is for that tournament style, as Jay is kind of like our mentor, at least mine. I'm not sure about Don's when it comes to these games, because he's definitely way more versed in this stuff. But a big part of why I won was not misplaying and punishing others for doing their misplays. Because one of my toughest matchups, even though I won it, was against a Xion deck who's doing the whole Xion Angel combo. And I clearly had the horn on the field, and he decided to flip with just the straight 3 mana, nothing else open, or not even with a, the hymnal, the hymn, whatever it's called.
Yeah, Her Regalia.
So he did it. He was, and like a lot of people have been doing that misplay of, if someone has horn on board, they go ahead and flip a Xion anyways. It's like, well, I'm going to shuffle your deck in response, and rather than getting his angel, he ended up getting like just a spell. So he just drew it, and all he had was a Xion on the board. And then next turn, I played Honglong. Like I completely destroyed him because of that. So it's like, if you guys are going to go to these type of tournaments, you don't really need the strongest deck to do well. It's almost just knowing what your deck does better than how your opponent knows their deck.
Stay calm and make
conscious decisions. Make sure you're paying attention to what's on board. It's probably relevant.
Yes.
But yeah, I've learned a lot from this tournament, and I learned a lot from the LA, but I can definitely tell that I'm improving, and I can see Don's improving too, even though he didn't do as well this time, but it was just, a lack of preparation on both of our parts.
Happens.
Yeah.
So the next set that's coming up, unfortunately, we still won't have the new cards when you guys get to go out to LA. So you guys get to basically practice with everything that's already out.
Yeah.
And get up there. And the whole local scene here has actually already geared towards that next tournament as well. Even for people who aren't going, which has been interesting to see a lot of people embracing the rotation already, which is kind of fun. Either way, there is still a lot of cool cards that I kind of wish we could get to play with. One of these cards not being is the Avalon Illusionary Home of Nights. So we're going to go ahead and start up with some of the spoilers from the past week, and this is definitely not one that's great to start off with. For 1 light, 1 colorless, your Noble Knights you control gain plus 200, plus 200. It's a field edition, and that's it.
Would you think would this be better if it was a spell chain instant?
Yes.
It was like a surprise,
yes,
but it's very specific though.
For 2.
I mean,
just like for 200.
But it buffs all your sacred knights all at once. It's a surprise.
That would actually be a lot better, because then you could surprise your opponent, get in, and
only
do
if
something.
it had remnant, I would play it.
Okay, I can see that.
As a field, you're doing it's so bad.
It's pretty bad.
None of those fields have really done anything, and they've all had additional abilities. So this one is, let's just stop talking about it.
It's just dead cards. We talk about dead cards all the time, and this is going to be a dead card all the time.
Yeah,
basically.
Next up, we have I believe his name is Boar's
Returned Adventure.
Yeah, Boar's Returned Adventures. Once again, guys, I'm going to apologize ahead of time for this horrible writing up top of these cards that I cannot read. It is 1 light, 2 colorless for 600, Noble Knight of the Round Table. When this card enters your field or attacks target, a Knight of the Round Table gains plus 400 until end of turn. This is a pretty good ability.
This is a pretty good card.
It triggers Lancelot right away when he enters the battlefield. There's another card that already did that for cheaper.
Yeah, but this comes out after Lancelot.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. It does something every turn, though.
Mm-hmm. You attack with it. It gives stuff. It gets stuff bigger. I mean,
it's even at 1,000. It can even hit itself. So even if it's alone, it's still 1,000.
It's a 10/10 for 3. That's like way above the curve.
Yeah,
that's out of Demon Flame range.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's gonna be seeing any competitive play, but it's definitely
with the rotation. I can see this card doing
potentially,
something.
like maybe red white noble knights with blazers at the helm again.
Yeah.
It might spark up.
It's not a terrible option. I mean, going red white over red green is, you're losing a lot of good cards like Prisia and whatnot.
Red white has like Percival and
right, but
combos.
on your 3-drop, I'd almost rather just play red green and go with Percival and just play good cards. But if you're going with a tribal fill of noble knights, then it's a decent 3-drop.
Yeah.
Yawan Knight of Lions.
Yawain.
Ewain. 1 fire, 2 colorless. It is Knight of the Round Table. 600 attacks, 600 defense. As long as you control a beast, this card gains swiftness and first strike. This card gains plus 200 for each beast you control. Whenever this card attacks, it deals 200 damage to each resonator. This card has a lot going on. It doesn't go with the Noble Knights, but it goes with the Beast deck, and when it goes with the Beast deck, it does that really, really well. Mm-hmm. This card could get a little bit insane. If you play it on curve on turn 3, and you have 2 other beasts, it's getting plus 400 just off of that. So this is a huge creature for a 3-drop, and I could see this doing some interesting stuff.
It'd be kind of cool with Ratatasker, right? Because Ratatasker protects... Oh, wait, but it doesn't protect Knight of the Round Table. I thought
right.
It only protects beasts.
So, but that's fine. It doesn't need to necessarily give protection, but the problem with Ratatasker is when this thing attacks, it deals 200 damage to each
But
resonator.
when you play him, Ratatasker gets
buffed. It does. So this is a really interesting card. I can see it being fine somewhere. This is interesting.
It's a swiftness target. Swiftness first strike.
Swiftness
first strike.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, this is really good. And it's probably plus...
And it's got other abilities on top of that, too.
So, on turn 3, you can attack for 1,000 with this guy. And ping your opponent's board for 200. So, kill off a...
Because this combos well with Prisia the Exploding Flame, because she's a beast. Mm-hmm. So, it goes in that green-red deck.
This also comes well with Flame King Shout.
It does.
It's like a potential board wipe.
That would be, that's 600 damage to your opponent's board. That would
it's whenever it doesn't need the beast to do the 200 damage.
So that's 600 damage. That's
to the board.
Super
and then
hefty.
And then it potentially has first strike if you have a beast out with that Flame King Shout. But
so in other words, Red's just getting better.
Yeah, it's kind of dominating with the new rotation, I think.
That's a 3-drop. Control meta, I don't know.
I mean, it still
could happen.
Yeah, but the potential board wipe aspect to it has swiftness, which cuts down on turns. I mean, it's a very powerful card, and we'd still have Lancelot and all the other things that are going to power you through the first couple turns, Rook Egg and whatnot. So I definitely see 3-drops. Just you get to pick your poison.
Red loves 3-drops, like Athena and Snow White. There's so many strong 3-drops on the red.
But if you're looking for a weak red card, Napping Lion is yours. For 1 red, 1 colorless, you can get a 800 beast that cannot attack or block unless it's damaged.
Cole's going to find a way to break this card.
I mean, I could see there's a lot of small trigger cards that do enable this.
Yeah, like the fight card.
Or even the card that we just talked about last. I mean, there's a lot of small things that enable this card. However... on its own, if you draw this off the top of your deck, late game, hoping to survive another turn, you play Napping Lion and...
My last words, I played Napping Lion.
I mean, that's where this card falls the flat the most. And that's where building an engine around him is just not smart or feeble. It's just, you will...
Yeah, it's supposed to combo with the Yawain guy that we just revealed.
Yeah, and just play Yawain.
And just
don't play this guy. For
this
1
card.
wind, you can play a Why are they A's upside down?
No, Survivors.
Survivors? Those V's look like A's.
They're upside down A's.
I am so dyslexic.
Terrible.
Don't do that to me. So either way, you can play this 1 win, 200, and it is a beast. And this card gains plus 400 as long as you control another beast resonator.
This card's really good.
So it's a 1-drop 600. It's pretty sweet.
I think that's really cool.
It's good, but the problem that I'm having with it here is it dies. It's too small to stop a Lancelot.
At 6/6?
Yeah, because your Lancelot is going to get plus 200, plus 200.
The thing I like about this card, let's just say, best case scenario, you play either this or Ratatasker turn 1. You're going first or something, right? Mm-hmm. Then turn 2, you play this. You have another mana open. They play their Lancelot. You wallow into their Lancelot, and then you still have your 6/6. Like, that sounds awesome to me.
I guess that's true. It's just, it seems very... Yeah, I don't know.
I think it's really good in the stall counter deck, personally, if you're playing beasts. It looks like beasts are getting a lot more support, but yeah. I don't think it's the greatest card, but I think it's a cool card.
It's a weird card to work around. It's not top tier, but it can medium high.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Yogdur, Beast of Wild. Yigdur.
Yeah, I think
Yigdur. 2 wind and 8 colorless. It is a 14.
Yamada
14.
Status.
And when it is a beast. If your life is 100, you may pay 2 wind and 8 less to play this card, and locking does not cause this card to rest, which is pretty good ability. 1400 is really big, and being able to play this for free when you get your Allison Sword into play after Yggdrasil is pretty good. Otherwise, you drew a dead card.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I want to play this.
There's a lot of talk that this is going to see play in the Wanderer format, because like you can just sit there dead with tree, right? And then you get your stuff off of the tree ability, and then best case scenario, talking about Ratatasker again. You have Ratatasker, you flash at all these beasts, and you play Pumpkin Witch, and then you just fly with all these giant creatures in the sky.
That's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Was it last week that we talked about that board wipe though?
What board wipe?
Interdimensional
Escape. Yeah.
Yeah, that was last week, right? I mean, that's kind of.
Yeah, that's a good counter too.
Yeah, I don't.
Stuff. But if you're playing Excalibur, doesn't that stop it?
No, because you're not targeting anything.
Oh, right.
Your opponent gets to choose one, exile all the rest.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
You just play 5 and your opponent... Oh, wait, no, it's 3. Oh, God, I keep forgetting because I would price that card at 5 mana if I was making the card. And it's somehow only 3 mana, and it's so good.
And it's instant speed.
They're going to choose Ellis because it's the only thing that keeps them from dying, and then everything else just goes away.
Yeah.
I just have such a hard time fathoming how that they're going to make stuff like that at all playable. So you have a dead card in your hand until it goes on the board and dies.
I don't know. Some people like playing that way with tree.
It's also a big 10 cost card, which could combo with one of the... What was that card? The red card that if it's no damage, that combo thing?
Yeah.
It's better than...
Or with the goddesses, flipping that off top of your deck or moving it from your graveyard to ping the crap
that's
out
what
of
he
your
was talking about.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's pretty gross.
It's one of the goddess targets, and it's a nice target.
Up next, we have another 1-drop, which is kind of nice. No real surprise that if it's going to be a somewhat good card, it's got to be Reflect. So the beginning of time, yes. Reflect. So he's a little boy still, of course, and he's a 0 attack, 200 defense, so not too oppressive there. And he has Shift, so this is another one of those double-sided cards. It is so you can pay 2 light, 3 colorless, and flip this to the other side anytime you can play a spell chant. This card cannot be targeted by spells or abilities, and it has pay 1, put a magic counter on this card. So I don't really know what that's going to be useful for. I know we're going to get to the other side of this card.
Someone's going to find how to break this card.
Yes, I feel like a non-targetable little hexproof guy like this, building up counters, is going to do something somewhere. Like it just
because you can build up counters with a globe really fast.
Yeah, because magic counter is really interesting of a card. The other side of it, and the reason why you're building these counters, at least for this, which seems a little odd. So you get a flip for 5, and you flip to this side, which is Refrain, the End of Ages, which is a 700, and you can also play it from your hand for 5 if you have it on the other side, because of course Shift, you can play either side of the card. It has pay 2, put magic counter on this card, so still with the moving or the adding of counters. but remove 4 magic counters from this card. Destroy all Resonators, Regalia, or additions, Regalia, Resonators, and J-Rulers. So she's a straight-up board wipe. But to do so, you have to pay 10 mana. Or, no, 9s. No, 10. Because you have to pay 1 green to put it, 4 to get counters on it, 5 to flip it.
Is it 4 counters? Okay.
Yeah, remove 4 counters. So you have to pay 10 mana to board wipe.
I'm just saying you can cheat it with Globe. Because Globe,
I thought it only put magic counters on your J-Ruler.
I think it only puts
Yeah.
counters on your J-Ruler.
Globe?
Globe?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about Orb. I'm talking about Globe.
Oh, upcoming. Gotcha.
For... What?
The upcoming Globe?
No,
Which
Globe, I'm sorry, it's...
Illusionary Globe, the Earth?
Yes, that
Yeah.
one. Because
Lapises.
Oh,
it's
because
moon
it's an
mana
activated
on
ability.
ability.
Gotcha,
and then
gotcha.
I think you can even use it on the shift, too.
Okay.
So if someone's going to break Globe with Reflect Refrain here,
Gotcha.
you're going to be able to board wipe really easily with that.
With that in mind, it's a little bit better. It still seems clunky.
It is
I feel
clunky.
like you're going to be able to... So, putting counters on this card feels like maybe... what's her name? The red-blue girl could use
Gerda?
them. Gerda, things like that. I feel like there's going to be something like that again at some point where this card takes advantage of that. I have no idea when or where that's going to happen, but I have hopes for this card.
Yeah, I think it's...
R&R's always good.
Someone's going
Yeah.
to try to break it.
Yeah.
It has the possibility of being a really strong card and no one knows it.
So,
It's our first board wipe.
that was the first set of spoilers that we had from Friday, correct? From
Yeah,
last
so-
week. So overall, somewhat good, somewhat bad. There's a lot of the spoilers that have been kind of just
Lackluster.
lackluster in the middle of it. And starting off with Tuesday spoilers, when I first started reading down these things, a lot of these things kind of is the same as well. Starting with like Lapis Dark Beast,
love
2
this
black,
card.
2 colorless. It's a 600 attack, 400 defense. First strike when this, so everyone knows what first strike is. When this card enters your battlefield, destroy target resonator with total cost 3 or less. It's kind of good, kind of under curve.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, more good stuff.
This reminds me of the Executioner, which is the stealth card that enters and kills something 3 or less.
I think it reminds me more of the vampire girl that when she comes into play, she destroys target resonator for 4 mana. The only problem
Carmilla?
Carmilla, but she's an 8/8. But this has first strike. I mean, and it is only limited to resonator 3 or less, so that's still pretty
4-drop.
strong.
That's most resonators nowadays.
Yeah, it is,
but it's a 4-drop though. It's a lot of resources to play it.
But you're
I'm more
killing
interested
something and
in-
you're gaining something.
Yeah, I'm more interested in this card though,
Okay.
which is Lapis Dark Storm, which is 2 black or 2 darkness. Your opponent discards a card at random, then discards a card. This is
God.
what made me interested in spoilers over the past couple weeks, and seeing that they look like they want to bring black back because this is a lot more powerful than
black.
a lot more powerful than Spiral of Despair.
Yes.
And I'm super excited to see more.
And this one's
cards
actually
like
got a
this.
spiral in it.
Yeah.
It's still a Spiral of Despair.
I actually have not played a black deck at locals yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a color that I've ignored pretty heavily, but that seems like a lot of fun.
Yeah, black and white, right? You haven't really touched.
I've played white.
Oh, you have played
I
white?
have played white. I've played Arla a couple times.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I've not played a single black deck, and that actually started really quick before we go back into spoilers. That started because you were telling me I need to play Vlad, and how Vlad is like my jam, and I need to play Vlad, and everybody else got fun about, oh, you need to play Vlad because that's how I play Magic a lot.
Yeah.
For some reason, that got me so far away from playing black that I just
I'm glad you never played Vlad. I would have been so upset with all the other Vlad players floating
Yeah,
around.
well, I got into that habit of playing a new ruler every single weekend, which was a lot of fun up until I found Alexander, and then I destroyed everybody for a month with Alexander because I got hooked on that card, and really wish we could have played a tournament with that because I was unstoppable during the Bahamut meta, and it was a perfect kill to Bahamut.
You could have played it during our LA trip. You probably would have done
That
fine.
was R&R already came out.
Yeah.
It was decent against R&R, but it wasn't the powerhouse it was the season right before.
Yeah, it was R&R without the errata. So
Yeah.
all those
You would have caught a
counters.
lot of people off guard, and I think you probably would have beaten quite a
It
few
would have been
people.
interesting, but Either way, back to more mediocre cards for the weekend, which was Messenger Familiar for 1 darkness. It is a familiar, who would have guessed. 100 attack, 100 defense. When this card is put into your graveyard from your field, search your main deck for a 12 Apostle, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So please go find your Adam Brawleys, people.
Yeah,
It's pretty sweet.
A lot of people are happy to have this card because everyone's been asking for 12 Apostle support.
I like the art
They
on this
clearly
guy.
don't
He looks
match
mer-
up at all. But
No. Yeah, it's not the color.
we are actually missing one more Apostle. We're still
Okay.
waiting on one more.
We're at
That's,
11.
yeah, I had not counted up until I keep seeing more stuff for it, and I'm like, okay.
Is Gil an apostle?
No,
he's
Galapis. He's
Galapis?
he's the main guy.
Yeah.
That rules all the 12 apostles?
Yeah.
I was actually watching Jordan's podcast, and it said he was more of their peers. He's not the ruler of the 12 apostles.
He's
He's
the one who
been-
summons them to go
He's
search
been
out the lands
saying it's
before he
like
goes to destroy them.
Galactus and Silver Surfer. It's like they do his bidding.
Yeah,
Okay. Sure.
that's the analogy I would go with. Or at least
I
with
just
Lord
saw it
Prime
on the
General.
podcast that they're like his peers, not they're
Well,
being
I'll
ruled
listen to
by
that
Galapagos.
podcast later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm kind of curious. Either way, this familiar would be so much cooler if he wasn't dark, because the effect on Adam Brawley, which is the one that I want to go get with this guy, what that does like damage to your opponent or something.
Yeah, they lose 400 life. It gets around the tree. Adam
I
Brawley.
guess.
With
If
this.
it was in blue and it drew you a card
Yeah.
and it searched for Adam Brawley,
That would have been awesome.
that cycle would have been sweet.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I would be so happy and play that so much. Either way, we do have another shift card, which this is
It says
the
Conquer.
he is a conquer.
Yeah, not 12 Apostle.
So obviously we're talking about Gil Lapis. So he is the interdimensional monarch Gil Lapis for 2 darkness and 1 colorless. He has a 600 attack, 700 defense, with shift for 2 red and 2 colorless. And when this card enters your field, you may search your main deck for a 12 Apostle and or a card named Acolyte Dimension of the 7 Kings. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
Yay!
Yeah.
Reveal them and put them into your hand, then shuffle your main deck. Discard a 12 Apostle card. This card gains plus 400 and target attack until end of turn. This card's pretty reasonably good.
Yeah, I
this
think
card's
it's cool.
really, really good. So he draws the cards that you need to discard off of him to give him a plus. He's
It
just
combos
solid.
well with that Izanami. Because
Yeah.
that one black 12 Apostle likes to be in the graveyard, and then you can use Izanami's ability from the grave to either have him discard or kill something. So yeah.
And it holds well for a reanimator combo.
Yes.
Because you go get the target that you want to pull out, and it's like
That's
a
right,
foolish
because you could
burial.
put like a behemoth in the graveyard and then somehow give it.
Isn't
some-
Yamada a 12 apostle?
No.
No, it's just a monster or
The
something.
biggest one is the Ouroboros. Is the
Yeah.
biggest 12 Apostle.
Well, the blue guy as well.
He's
He would be-
15-15.
Yeah, but he'd be good.
Leviathan.
Yeah,
The Leviathan. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really like that card. His other side, which is the 2 red, 2 colorless, to play him from your hand if you have him on this side, because, like I said, shift you can play from either side. Space Time Pursuer, Gil Lapis. I can read so well. He has target attack naturally. He is 1,000, by the way. And on the side, he is also Wanderer. When this card enters your field or shifts, choose one. You may pay 0 to pay shift abilities of target card in a field rather than pay their cost until end of turn. You may put a 12 Apostle from your hand into your field. It gains swiftness until end of turn. Remove it from the game at the end of turn. So that's really good. Being able to sneak attack is, I guess, the magic term I'd like to use for this. Sneak something into play and smack them with it is pretty good. However, that means you paid 3 already and then 4, or unless you're playing this side and want to just sneak it into play for a turn for 4.
Yeah, I would do
pretty
that
good.
with the Leviathan.
Yeah.
If I'm playing like blue stones.
Mhm.
Just boop.
Yeah.
Boop.
So this actually is a really cool combo. Just even playing it on either side is really, really good. I could see...
This is one of the few shift cards I would love to flip.
Yeah.
Personally.
I think this is one of the few 12 Apostles that's good on both sides.
Oh, you mean this...
You
mean shift cards, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, shift cards. One of the few shift cards that you can play on both sides and you want to play on both sides.
Yeah.
Like you don't just want to play on one.
It has good utility on both sides.
Yeah, I don't know what else to really say about this card other than I want to play with it.
I think
I'm excited for it.
It's going to be a fun card to play.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if the ping 0 for target shift ability is going to be relevant at all, other than unless you
Combo off of each other.
Yeah.
That'd be so cool.
And then, yeah, it could be interesting.
Just have all the Gilapis in the field and they all like...
So the card that it gets is the Acolyte Dimension of the Seven Kings, which is 2 colorless. And
Aderotica, right?
Yeah.
Not Alkalite.
Oh. You guys said I was correct on the last one. You
Yeah.
guys suck. Adarakia.
That was right.
What's it? I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
You said Alkalite right. This is Aderotica.
Oh, this is Adarakia. This is a different card, so it doesn't search this one out. Gotcha. When this card enters the field, draw a card, and that's where this card ends up being good, because it drew you a card. It has shift for 7, and please just don't even try to play this card, because when it shifts to the other side, it becomes the most unplayable card ever. Illusionary Demonic Globe Adarakia for 7 that you can play from this side. It has the wonderful ability of tap, choose 1, remove target resonator, addition, or regalia with an attribute from the game if it doesn't share an attribute with a card any removed area that was removed by this card, or remove target resonator, addition, or regalia with no attribute from the game if there are no cards with no attribute that were removed by this card in any removed area. Tap. For next ability, put 6 cards in the removed area that were removed by this card into their owner's graveyard. You win the game. You win the game.
You win the match.
No, actually, it says you win the game on there twice, which is a typo that they've already announced and said that you do not get to win the game
You
twice.
should totally win the match with this card if you're able
It's
to pull
so
that
stupid,
off.
dude.
And so if you're on game 3 and you win the game, do you win the game that you start next with your opponent?
Yeah, of course you do.
So this
That's
card...
in the card.
It goes on the stack.
Yes.
So the problems with this card, really quick, just to sum it up for everybody who's possibly even thinking about running with this card, is not only... So you can only exile 1 red thing, 1 black thing, 1 blue thing, 1 green thing. 1 of each color all the way through the color pie, and then put all 6 of those back into the graveyard to win the game. The problem with that is your opponent really likes to run usually 1 to 2 colors, maybe 3 if you're lucky, and is never going to let you win off of you exiling his stuff. So this means you got to start killing your own things. You're just never going to do this. And for 7 mana to even play this is so far down the line of it does nothing when it enters, you just don't even care.
I think my biggest problem with this card is if you hit a multicolored card, then you're completely screwed out of the win condition.
Right.
Because you can't hit the other red or
colors.
green. Like if you hit Prisia, you can't get another red or another green. You're stuck at a maximum of 5 cards. If
And then you can never win.
And then you can never win
That's
off this card.
Incredibly terrible.
Yeah, and then
if this card just allowed you to remove any number of things, like it just as many reds as you want, whatever, but there had to be 6 different ones to put back in the graveyard and win the game, it would be fine. But the fact that you can only... A lot of people are playing mono red. You exile 1 red, so you paid 7 mana to kill 1 red thing.
yeah.
And then, good day, sir.
I mean, and it's not like it's going to happen, but you can only use one of them to do the ability. You can't have multiple and spread it across like 3 and 3 on each globe. It has to be all 6 from just one of these cards in order to win the kid. So
And if
I guess
this dies, then you have to start all over.
the biggest thing we need to take from this card is that they're sending us a signal saying we're going to do our best to make alternative win condition as hard as possible. I think Force of Will's scared of making an alternative win condition way too broken that they can't foresee. Because I think there's cards like that in Magic that got broken. Like, they seemed like, this is kind of tough.
Dimensional door or whatever, the door to nothingness has been broken a few times. But, I mean, and when it's broken, it's not really that terrible. Like, it's on turn 5, I can win the game with this card, which a lot of formats end at turn 4. Or anyways, like, it's... I don't know. I'm not afraid of them making alternate win conditions in a game. I feel like...
But that's the signal I'm getting from this card. Is like, we're going to make alternative win conditions. We're just going to make them impossible.
But this isn't even good in cube or anything. Huh? It's a 7-mana removal. Sorry, 7
Is it 7 mana to flip over?
Yes.
It's also 7 mana to play.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, but the other side draws you a card.
And
so
it's not a
I think if I had 7 mana available, I'd rather just play this side rather than play the draw card side and then flip another turn.
Don't play this card.
I think it's cute.
I'd play it as a cycle. Maybe.
All right. This card is the card that everybody has lost their corrective crap over. I didn't realize that it says it's Ancient Magic in the brackets.
That's also on all the rage right now.
Yeah.
Is it white on other stuff?
People are so confused because this is the first spell, apparently, that this has ever happened.
Okay, so really quick before we go into this thing that I don't understand. It's Black Moonbeam, which is for 2 darkness. Destroy target J Resonator. Players cannot
J Ruler.
J Rulers. Sorry,
it's only J Ruler.
Players cannot chase to this card. So it destroys a J Ruler. It is a spell chant instant, and the thing that we're just talking about really quick, which you can read over here on your right, which is it has a little bracket saying Ancient Magic. Before we go on about how this card is everything that everybody's talking about, what exactly is the Ancient Magic thing?
We don't know.
It's just a subtyping.
It's just subtyping.
That's all it is.
Is it? No, we don't know what it is yet.
No,
they
it's a
haven't
subtyping.
clarified.
Well, yeah, it's obviously subtyping.
No,
that's really
there's...
weird.
Okay, first of all, there's been additions with, like... I mean, I know Treasury Item was irrelevant, but there's been ones that are like, say, Crypt. Okay, Crypt. They're just adding other names on it for no reason at all.
What are you doing?
I'm just saying this might have some relevance later, or maybe. I'm betting a big no, because there's been some super typings of literally just like Crypt, because I think like that one that's like all zombies get +2/+2. It's
maybe
like it's a graveyard. It's called Graveyard. Yeah. No one freaked out about, oh hey, it's a graveyard. You know.
So
I guess you're right.
Back to what the card actually does. It makes R&R better. If you're wondering what it does.
Do you think so? Because
I personally think so.
It kills Reflect though.
No, it makes cards that don't have to flip better.
It makes the ruler side better.
Hmm?
But it makes rulers with ETBs and God's Arts still good.
I would rather have a Reflect on its ruler side the whole time than any of the 5 rulers that were spoiled, flipped, and then immediately killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like God's Art, so when you flip a ruler, you still hold priority, so you can God Art on the same turn that you flipped. I would still play like Shion or possibly...
Wait, you flip and then...
Then you get to God's Art, which is...
You get to God's Art before they have priority.
I see. That's a lot of mana, though.
Yeah, you're
like, which God's Art are you going to do when you flip?
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
But
this changes
Slam and dunk.
Valentina 2.0 has a lot to choose from.
I think this deserves
Shion's the only one who has anywhere of a chance of flipping and then God's Arting. Because her God's Art is only 2 blue mana.
Yeah, I think this deserves its hype. It seems like it's going to do something different, and I think
it's going to change the meta. Better. I think it's personally going to do some good stuff to the meta, because it's going to make it almost like a poker game. Almost. It's like, am I playing with it or am I not? And people are going to be so scared to flip, even if the person's only got 1 Ruler's Memoria open, you know, because they're like, but what if they get another Ruler's Memoria, and what if they have the kill spell, you know?
It's interesting. It's an
but black is still a weak color.
It is, but they're
Is it
making it a
really?
lot stronger. And
But
also,
it's only hits a J ruler. Like, it potentially is a dead card in your hand if your opponent plays
which
right.
is why you're playing R&R, so you can tuck it.
Well, there you go. But maybe you don't want to tuck it because you're scared that they might flip. And if they flip, they combo off you with a freaking angel.
Well, then it
and
wasn't
that's
dead in your hand, and you kept it.
I'm just saying.
No,
It's
no.
a-
This
hard
card is a
card to
lot
play.
more intricate than other people are leading on.
It is. It's a little bit more intricate. This card right here is pretty cool, though. Just moving on because I feel like we gotta keep moving. Collapsing world for 2 darkness and 3 colorless. At the beginning of each player's turn, that player banishes a resonator. This card is awesome.
That's cool that you say that because you're the first person I've heard that. Has
I
this card.
know, but this card is awesome.
I like this card too.
This card hits and punishes your opponent before it punishes you. And it's just constantly back and forth.
But
You
it
just
is
keep-
5 will.
That's fine.
Really?
It's just Jay's playstyle.
This is something I would do. This is something I know I would win with. This is something that I feel like. Yeah, this is. I wish this was a rare so I could get it in full art foils because I'm going to be driving this card home. This is what really makes me want to play some black. Stalling out your opponent and sitting there and making them just destroy resonators. I'm not going to be losing any resonators most likely. This is just
What
seems
do
like
you-
insane.
how are you gonna win?
I don't know. I'm going to figure that out.
Oh, are you
This
gonna-
card is going to be my game plan.
Okay, sure.
I really wish we could play back in Valhalla where we had the Black Moon and I could bounce all the stones. Like, there's a ton of cards that I wish I could have played with, and this is the first black card that's came around where I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make you
Cube.
discard 2 different things, and then I'm going to make you do this. Yes, that's actually probably where you guys are going to see me play this more often than anything else is in Cube.
Yeah. it's
And
gonna
for
be
people who
gross.
don't know what Cube is, we do have videos in our playlist where you guys can go and check those out, where we explain a little bit of what those are. Definitely go check them out. They're pretty, they're really fun. But this is a card that is going in there, and I'm going to play the crap out of it and probably try and construct it. It is a 5 and a remove your worst creature, but I feel like you should have enough tempo moving up to that point that this keeps you on the permanent removal path and allows you to start. When you play this, you can finally start plussing, getting cards in your hand because you're no longer worrying about removing them. Early game, you destroy target creature, discard your hand, do this, do this, do this. You get to 5 mana, and now you're stabilizing. Now you start to come back because now they kill the only thing that they could play each turn.
Yeah.
And this slowly gets you coming back. When they're top decking, you don't have to waste removal on them anymore. You get to stop top decking and start drawing more cards. That's why I like this card. And I really want to play it. And yeah, I know a lot of people don't. I mean, anything you think about it? No?
Of the sacrifice card?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I like it. I don't think it's going to see, competitive play, but I really
neither.
like the card, though.
Yeah, it's not.
I will play it competitively.
If they play Huang Long, like it's gonna take so long for just
Oh.
one sacrifice.
That's a little bit annoying, but I
If they play rabbits, it's just gonna take so long for them to sacrifice.
which I'm totally playing rabbits at some point too. I'm just
You can play
yeah.
black, green, white rabbits. It's totally possible with Kaguya, with all the
black, green,
moonstones.
white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very possible. Then that actually helps you. You have all those rabbits, and then you have that. You're just sacrificing one little tutu bunny. They have to sacrifice a Lancelot. Yeah, that works out.
So it seems like there's some fun things coming around.
There's,
The announcement for the Lapis cluster. Is
Yep.
that what that is?
It's officially
Yeah.
announced.
So they finally announced the Lapis cluster with Alice and Kaguya missing. That's the whole little read thing
This
that they're
little
going on
story.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a little story with somewhat cool art. That artwork almost looked like it's a little Dread, the fake red.
It's Narcothep, yeah.
Yes, it's Narcothep. Which is, I'm really glad to see that there's probably going to be more cards of her coming up because not only is she Narcothep, she's Little Dread.
Yeah, Little
Dread.
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 Lunia.
Nunya. She's several different cards throughout that. Alice.
She's a big part of the story.
Yeah,
And
and
apparently she's back.
would love to just see nothing but more of her existing because there's just a ton of variants of
And
her.
along
it's
with
fun.
her, she brings Cthulhu's,
Yeah,
which is the main
Cthulhu's,
themes.
yeah.
Cthulhu's and all that stuff.
Yeah, everyone's very excited to see Cthulhu's back. I'm one of those people because I just love... I love the giant monsters of this game. I don't really care for the tiny little girls. Well, the bunnies are sick too. But other than... Well, I think actually all the little girls except... Kaguya is pretty cute. Like I'll give you that. But I'm not too into the ass and the
Like
the boobs
all
hanging
of
out.
Vingolf.
All of Vingolf. Yeah, I really hope that they stay away from that. I remember talking about the summer art of the one girl with the butt. Yeah,
Kaguya.
When I finally went and looked at that artwork, I realized, that was my bad.
You guys supported it.
I supported it before I went back and saw the art. I was not paying attention to that.
Yeah.
I watched that podcast. I wasn't a part of it. I would have totally been ripping you guys to shreds.
I apologize.
If I was there.
Way over sexualized.
Oh my god!
And that's usually my stick. Is I don't like the over sexualized arts in this game.
I was against it.
You guys are terrible.
You guys
people.
were all
Really?
right.
I
don't
against
remember. I say I wasn't
completely
personally
forgot.
against it, but I remember saying that people are going to be offended with
Yes.
this. and it's
I
gonna
remember you
keep
saying
people
that,
away
but that
from the
doesn't
game.
mean you were on.
I didn't have the spoilers up for that one. I didn't see what it looked like. I just knew that it was there, and my bad, guys. I'm completely sorry. Either which way, I believe that's all that we've
They
got
might
for this
like
week.
it,
Yeah,
it's personal preference.
Personal
You guys are allowed to
preference.
like it. I'm just not too into it.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Here's
I mean,
the
I
game.
think
What you do?
I personally could probably get more friends into this game if it wasn't for that
For this art?
that kind of art. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a solid truth, and that bothers me. The other thing that we could get more people into this game for is if Force of Will would reprint more starter decks.
Which
Not
they
being
are.
able to order those things. Right, they're going to be printing them in Grim Cluster. So
Lapis
we still...
cluster. Lapis
Yeah,
cluster.
Lapis Cluster. So the
Which will
cluster
be in September.
yeah, which is what we just talked about. Which is so the next cluster we will get starters. However, I've been out of starters since they last came out. I sold out of a huge stock of them way too fast, and I've impossible to get them from my distributors, which has made me incredibly harder to get more people into the game, which means that they need to print more starters.
Yeah.
Do it.
Second round.
I was actually reading online that other stores had a tough time selling their starters, and
Did they?
it's very hard to understand that when we had all our stuff.
Yeah, I sold through 60 starters in the first week alone.
Yeah, other stores aren't that into it. Like, I think it's because our store,
We-
all of our employees play it.
We kind of
and
did a
love
good job
the
promoting
community.
it.
Yeah, but
accidentally.
we didn't even buy any of the starters ourselves. Like, that was literally all to new players.
Yeah. Yeah. It was,
that
Yeah,
are too
I know.
afraid to come because
Yeah.
'cause
we're
we
really
promote it.
good at the game.
we promote it really well, and if other people love the game, if other people in the stores play the game and know it,
I love this game.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
just-
mean, that is...
These
that
cards
is
could
true.
have no art, and I would
And
love
we
this
could
game.
go-
Like, because this game's like almost flawless. Like, it's so close to being flawless. You know, it's so great.
I agree with you. There's no frustration while you're playing. It's all inside of you. It's because of you doing good with your deck, what you build, and how you play it, and not like, oh, I drew a land off the top or something.
Yeah, a lot less variance, so it's a lot more strategy-based. I love this game tremendously. I wish that we could promote it a lot more. And that's also why we have the podcast here. This is just another way for us to support the game that we love. And thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and find us on our other. We only have a
YouTube channel.
Yeah, Twitter and
Yeah.
YouTube. Never mind, guys. Just love and like and subscribe us here. You guys are awesome. Thanks for watching. I'm your host, Jay Phillips, joined as always by.
Don Bowie.
And I'm your Patrick.
Have a good one, guys. I was like, I want to
Find us in Vegas. Find us on the computer. Find us on TV. Find us on this board game.
Hey, man, if we get around.
Find us in our phone. Look, there's our contact.
Technically, we have a website
We do have a website.
that I've never updated. Actually, that's a lie. I updated it once.
Yeah, you updated it once.
And then I forgot about the fact that we had it until just now.